Let us continue the series with the AWS Cloud Security, and we are in the section of IAM, so Identity and Access Management. And this overly permissive permission lab is an easier one. It's a very realistic one, and it allows one to understand or to better understand how to actually approach Amazon Web Services from a security standpoint. These labs, as far as I can tell, are very useful to both sides of the offensive, to both sides of the cybersecurity perspective, such as the offensive and the defensive. Now, in this lab, what we have to do is, as it says here, overly permissive permission can be abused by a user to perform privileged operations. We've seen that previously. Leverage the policy attached to the student user and attain administrative privileges on the AWS account. Now, I took time and downloaded the lab manual because, as I said in previous videos, I'm not here to actually brag about my skills because I'm actually learning here as I'm doing them, so it's not like showing off anything because I don't know a lot, which is why it wouldn't be, like I said, it would be a waste of time if I just do these videos and pretend that I know what I'm doing. Okay, so we have the lab, the walkthrough here. We're actually going to follow it. I'm going to try and do things from the Windows side of things, but if it doesn't work, I have Kali Linux fired up in here, and we'll just open up the lab link. Agree. It says it's taking longer than expected, but it only took like a few seconds. Alright, now here are our credentials. What we have to do is to configure AWS first. So I think that's what they're doing, but we'll look. So first we do AWS configure. We use the access key ID and then the password, the secret access key actually, US East 1, which is already set, default format. So AWS is configured. I think we can, let's not actually close it. Okay, so that's exactly what we are being shown in the walkthrough. Now the first thing, so again, what we have to do, leverage the policy attached to the student user and attain administrative privileges on the AWS account. So in this case, what we're going to do, first we need to get details of the current user, and that is, let me actually, so AWS Identity and Access Management get user. So I think this actually shows us the current user. And of course, what I want to say is that for more information about command line interface, how to install, and the entire documentation, all of it is available at docs.aws.amazon.com. So back where we were. Identity and access management get user. We have a username, so this is actually the user that we are at right now. We have the ARN, the created date, and the path. So this is how a user looks like in terms of definition according to identity and access management. Now the next thing we have to do we have any, so we know the user, this is only like not all the details, which is why we can get information about the policies attached to the user. So we can get, as if you've watched previous videos, you know that there are at least two ways of looking into the policies. We have list user attached, so we have list user policies, And then we also have list attached policies. We have the user policies and we have the attached policies, and they are two different things. So first, AWS IAM list user policies, and we need to specify the username. As we can see over here, username student. And we have a policy called Terraform. Now we can get more details about it. So AWS IAM get user policy in this case, because we want to know more details about the specific policy. So username student, and then you have to specify the policy name, and we paste the policy Terraform. This policy allows us to everything. Allows us what? So first, it allows create login profile, change password. So this policy for the student called Terraform allows us to perform the following actions. So create login profile and change password, allow. Because so you have the action and the effect and the resources. Action, these actions, effect, allow. It could be effect, deny for all the resources, and that would be the exact opposite. Now, the user has permissions to create a login profile for any user. Resource everything, as you can see, resource star. Check for users with administrator access policy attached to them. So we can look for all the users, IAM list users. I believe this command is available by default to all the users unless specifically specified by policy. So list users, username admin Bob, admin Jane, identity and student. So we have 4 users, out of which we are one of them. You also have identity. And you also have 2 very explicative ones, 2 admins. Now we can look at AWS IAM list attached. Now in this case we do not list the user policies but list attached user policies, and we specify the username admin Bob, and we can see the policy name. So the attached user policies to admin Bob. We can also do that for student, for example. So let's see if we get the Terraform one. You can see that the attached policy for student is different from the user policy. List user policies. We have the Terraform, and the attached policy for the student is that we have read-only access. Now for username Bob, we have administrator access. So as you can see, we have administrator access. Now, our Terraform policy here allows us to create login profile and change password, remember? So, create a login profile for user admin Bob. And we do that with AWS IAM create login profile. So we just copy the command over there, username admin Bob. We do the password ABCD at 12346. And I believe this is a successfully ran command. Password reset required false, username admin Bob, and today, July 25th, the exact time. So, create login profile. Remember, we were able to, and you also have no password reset required. So we didn't actually specify that, so password reset required false. You do not actually have to specify the no password reset required, because as you can see, it already is set by default. Now, again, What we did was to look at our default user, so get user, we are student, we looked at the student policies, list user policies, so we have the Terraform policy. Now the Terraform policy allows us to create login profile, which we actually did here. So create login profile and also change password. The user has permission to create a login profile for any user. So that's what we actually did. We listed all the users. We've seen that we have admin Bob, and then what we did, we created a login profile for Bob with the password, and now we can actually go ahead and sign in the AWS console, and let's see if it actually works. So we have the login URL. Let's open it in incognito. Username, in this case we are Bob, admin Bob, and the password was ABCD at 12346. And we are logged in as administrator. So that's how you actually exploit a misconfigured policy in this case. Now let's try and do something else. We've seen that, so this is something that I just came up with. We've seen that the user policy has the change password. Now instead of AWS IAM, let's try and see IAM change password username 12346 Let's see if it works. Okay, now let's actually look into the documentation and see how we actually change the password via the command line interface. So change password. Try to see if this actually works. Because as a student, we have the ability to change the password for everyone. Admin create user, admin get user, admin reset user password. So you have change password. AWS IAM change password. That's exactly what I did. So change password. To change the password for your IAM user, the following arguments are required. So we have the old password. What if we only specify the new password? We also have to specify the old password. So we have ABCD at 12346. Unknown option admin Bob. So at a first glance, we can only change the password for ourselves, but we can probably do that for other users. It's just that I don't want to take like more time to investigate it here because we are already 14 minutes in. So as a student with the Terraform policy, we had the ability to create login profile and also change password. Apparently change password works for the user only, but upon further investigation, I suspect that it might also work to actually change the password for other users from the student username, because we have the fact here, allow resources, all of them. If I am wrong, please correct me. If anyone of you watching this video are actually more experts, if expert has a comparative degree, so if some of you actually know this precisely, let me know if you can change the password if you have permission on behalf of a different user. So That's it for this video.